regards to that. So, our second guest, el segundo invitado para el día de hoy, como le he mencionado a ustedes, han sido dos invitados para esta tarde. El segundo es nada más y nada menos que nuestro gran amigo Claudio Ragazzi, reconocido guitarrista, compositor, arreglista, educador. ¿Qué más puedo decir de él? Agente cultural, ha hecho tantas cosas aquí en la ciudad de Boston, oriundo de Argentina, pero sin embargo uno de los mejores músicos que ustedes van a conocer en lo que es la música contemporánea, y tenemos la buena dicha de tenerlo a él aquí con nosotros. Y a la misma vez vamos a hacer el maestro de ceremonia para su presentación este próximo jueves. Aquí le traigo a ustedes desde su estudio en su hogar, miren todas las guitarras, el estudio de grabación, Claudio Ragazzi. You're on mute. Take off the mute so we can hear you. Porque no, ahora sí,
Ahora,
señor.
¿se me oye?
Bienvenido, mi hermano. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás, querido? ¿Cómo anda todo? Qué bueno.
Bien, qué alegría verte. Lamento, mira, hemos tenido algún problema técnico el día de hoy, que la música suena cortada, o sea, entra y sale, baja, sube, no sé de qué se trata. La voz en la conversación ha sido formidable, excepcional.
No te preocupes.
Pero la música es lo que yo quería compartir con el pueblo, pero nada más tenerte a ti en persona, por fin, tantos meses que hemos hablado. Sí, te voy a tener el programa, sí voy a estar, sí te vamos a tener el programa, sí voy a estar, pero por fin estamos aquí y te quiero dar las gracias por aceptar la invitación y estar con nosotros esta tarde. Así
Mira,
que
gracias,
bienvenido, Claudio.
Tuve la suerte de estar un ratito antes y escucharlos a Oscar también. Increíble, ¿viste? Increíble el trabajo que estás haciendo de documentación y la mente abierta. Eso es lo principal, ¿viste? Yo lo que siempre noté es que tú siempre tienes una mente abierta con respecto a los diferentes estilos, diferentes tipos de músicas. Hace millones de años que nos conocemos, demasiado tiempo. Tú estás igual, yo no, a mí me salió el pelo blanco y todo. Tú estás cada vez mejor, te digo la verdad. Antes de una época estaba un poquito gordito, pero ahora estaba bien, ¿viste?
Divina quien me cuida, divina me cuida.
Increíble,
Soy un hombre
divina.
bendecido, divina quien me cuida.
También ha casado a tantos amigos nuestros y todo. Y hasta cosas que no sé si tú te acuerdas, presentaciones donde nosotros tocamos con Mercedes Sosa
Sí,
en el
señor.
Play Auditorio que tú presentaste, o sea,
Sí.
una cantidad de músicas, salsa, Latin jazz, Giovanni en el Centro Cultural, en tantos sitios, así que tenemos poco tiempo para tantas historias que tenemos para compartir, querido. ¿Cómo estás?
Ay,
Primero, ¿cómo estás?
yo muy bien, gracias al Señor. Divina se encuentra arriba, te manda saludos. Ella está entusiasmada con el hecho que estamos conversando. Tú sabes que ella te quiere mucho, te admira también. Y nada, complacido, entusiasmado con la propuesta nueva tuya que estás compartiendo, Tributes en Tangos, con tu cuarteto, con tres músicos que son increíbles. Y también entusiasmado porque tengo la buena dicha de que este jueves seré el maestro de ceremonias para tu presentación en el Long Live Roxbury el jueves, comenzando a las 6, el Jazz Night, que se ha convertido en el lugar donde todos tienen que ir los jueves para escuchar buena música y un buen ambiente. Y este jueves obviamente será increíble porque viene con el cuarteto tuyo. Pero vamos a hablar un poco antes de entrar, porque yo te conozco, pero hay gente que quizás no te conocen. We're talking with our dear friend Claudio Ragazzi. We go back many years, decades, similar to Oscar Hernandez. Claudio and I have known each other, I think, since he was at Berkeley, and then when he worked at Artes y Culturas and Inquilinos Boricuas en Acción, during a period of time when Inquilinos Boricuas en Acción, Arte y Cultura were doing some magnificent things. If we went through the list of all those great artists, muchachos, es una historia. Bueno, hablando de historia, I've been commissioned to write the history of Afro-Latin music in Boston, of which you are part of, because I have to sit and interview you and get all those posters and flyers and programs and get all that history, porque tanta historia y tanta música y tantos eventos que se dieron durante esa época cuando estabas tú, Wilma Colón, Eileen Collins, cuando estaba Efraín. ¿Qué
Alex
más?
Alvear,
Alex Alvear, Alan
Adam,
West, Durán.
West,
O sea, fue un
increíble.
momento de oro en nuestras comunidades cuando
Ya.
viene la música y el arte. Pero para que la gente sepa un poco de quién tú eres, ¿cómo es que Claudio Ragazzi, tú, llegas a esta ciudad de Boston y dile a la gente dónde tú eres y cómo creciste?
Mira, ¿lo hacemos en español o en inglés o cómo te conviene?
Lo que tú te sientas cómodo. Start speaking Spanish and
No,
wind up in English. Do
yeah,
it the way you like to do.
I don't want to leave people out,
Okay.
story, but lo hacemos en Spanglish como quieran. ¿Viste?
Claro, claro, claro.
Eh, eh, well, I was always interested in coming to Berkeley College. I was a kid in Argentina, 11, 12 years old, and I was already, playing. And I got the Berkeley books for guitar and for composition and the whole thing. And my dream was to come to Boston, so I was able to in. Long time ago. I started Berkeley in 1981, right? I was there from 81 to 84, and studied with some amazing people. I came mainly to study jazz music. I was in the jazz composition department. With people like Herb Pomeroy and John Laporta, Ken Pulik. I mean, amazing group of teachers and writing for big band and all that stuff. As I'm arriving to Boston, even before I think around the same time uh, when I started applying to go to Berkeley, I met this woman Susan Phillips, and she was friends with Gil Raldiris. Gil Raldiris was an iconic figure, and they were looking for someone that played a guitar, electric guitar, a Latin American, nylon string guitar, as well as a cuatro, right? And I never heard the cuatro. I heard the Venezuelan cuatro, right? So this was to play in a band with Josie La Torre. Josie La Torre had just started her solo career from Haciendo Punto en Otro Son. Irving Garcia, sorry,
Even Garcia.
was living here as well, and we put a band together. It was a crazy band, and it was like 10 musicians or something. We did a lot of concerts back then with Josie playing the repertoire of Haciendo Punto and some new songs. Amazing group. And then I learned how to play the cuatro. I fell in love with the cuatro puertorriqueño, and I got a cuatro myself. I got a cuatro here. Don't make me play because the sound is not good. This, but I got where is that cuatro from Morovi or something like that? I went up the mountain, to get my cuatro, and it was an amazing experience. So I am so thankful for the Puerto Rican community, because they were truly. I mean, the Americans too, but the Puerto Rican community was the one who opened doors to me, like big time. So immediately after that, we started with Gil. We started doing the Cantores de Areitos, a group of kids. They are probably older than we are now. So we started this group, and we played the schools. There was a lot of we. I have a picture with you with Dukakis,
At the
Jose,
center.
Jorge
For
Hernandez,
Hernandez. Yep.
Gil, and us. We were opening the first first Latino cultural center in the South End here. Dukakis was there. One of the Kennedys was there. I don't know if it was Joe. I don't remember which. They'll look at all alike. They look very. They look sort of like that. One of the Kennedys was there. He was running for the governor, for mayor, or something.
Congress.
Yeah.
No, I know who it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Teddy Kennedy. It was Teddy Kennedy. Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the work we were doing uh, with combining culture and politics and community was amazing. Yeah, because I think what we, at least what I felt at that point was that there's everybody was speaking the truth. You know what I mean? There was
Mhm. Mhm.
no hidden agendas, nothing. Everybody was trying to make Mel King. Used to come to
Mhm.
the center like, man, he should have been president of this
Mhm.
country. I mean, brilliant guy and great taste of music. Amazing. Yeah. So that's how I ended up in Boston. The interesting thing as well is that as a young kid in Argentina, I was trying also to do some community work,
Mm. Mm.
using music I mean, not using music. Music is a community, I mean, I can stay here, play in my basement, all my life, but it's a community a, a type of thing. So in Argentina, the issue was that then the military government came in, and then anything that was community related, music related, people were getting in jail. I'm talking about the late 70s, mid 70s. You know what I mean? It was dirty. It was not a good time. So in a way for me to get involved with the Puerto Rican and the Latino community in general was a way of continuing my work as a kid, in Argentina. So it was connected with that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Let's pause there a minute because when I had Alex Alvear, nuestro gran amigo Alex Alvear, y
Total.
mencionamos, cuando él estuvo recientemente aquí de visita, que fue como un reencuentro de tantas amistades cuando llegó Alex aquí
Sí, man.
para su presentación, él habló sobre su experiencia en Ecuador con la política y él
Exacto.
como músico, usando la música ahí en mate, nuestro amigo,
Ay, ay, ay.
sepa que Claudio es argentino. You can see he's Argentinian. He's having his mate tea. He's,
Just started with it.
having his mate tea. Um, but Alex spoke about being in Ecuador during that period of time because remember, this is Violeta Parra, this is Mercedes. You mentioned
Yeah.
this is Victor Jara. You're talking about La Nueva Canción, La Nueva Trova. You're talking about music as a powerful tool of organizing and mobilizing people and speaking truth to power against oppression, against authoritarianism, against you know the human rights injustice that was taking place during that period of time, dictatorships, etc. When all these things were happening in Central and South America, Chile, Argentina, El Salvador, we can go Nicaragua, we can go through all of those countries which
Rico,
were experiencing
yeah, yeah, Panama, yeah, many.
Panama,
Yeah.
all these places, and music was the one speaking truth to power. And you come to this country and you find the freedom, ¿no? La libertad
Oh, yeah.
de la posibilidad de hacer ese tipo de encuentro entre comunidad, un movimiento social, cultural, político que realza una comunidad, it uplifts a community, it creates unity, and then it creates a movement that creates a community called Villa Victoria. And then the arts component is an important part of that. And the new generation being, cantores de areito, etcétera, etcétera.
Mm.
Y para ese tiempo, obviamente, era la comunidad puertorriqueña que estaba al frente de este tipo de esfuerzo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Y ahora nos encontramos, Claudio, tú y yo, en esta época de nuestra vida, y es como un círculo, ¿no? Lo que habíamos visto en nuestros hogares, en nuestra tierra natal, en el terruño de nuestra juventud, ahora lo estamos viendo aquí,
Mm.
en este,
Mhm.
en esta nación, donde de pronto el arte, la cultura, todo lo que tiene que ver con renovar el espíritu, lo están tratando de apagar.
Yeah.
No, si no este tipo de música no se puede tocar, si no este tipo de libro no se puede escribir, si no este tipo de poema no se puede declamar, si no este tipo de película no se puede ver, etcétera, etcétera. Tú como músico que viviste eso en Argentina y ahora estás viviendo esto, lo estás viendo tú, tu opinión, tu comentario sobre este fenómeno.
Mira, primero o sea, mi interés no fue nunca realmente entrar por el lado de la política, ¿no? ¿Te das cuenta? Siempre fue, y venimos de una generación en donde creíamos que podíamos cambiar el mundo con la música. Y lo cambiamos por un tiempito. Digamos, el trabajo que se hizo en Boston de traerlo acá Chao, Mario Bauzá, hacer las MIT, New England Conservatory, Berkeley, Harvard, giving Mario Bauzá a doctorate and things like that. Esos eran cosas que cambiaron la historia, ¿te das cuenta? Lo que pasa también aquí es que la gente lamentablemente no sabe lo que tiene hasta que lo pierde muchas veces, ¿no? Y yo, por ejemplo, bueno, ahora en un plano personal, nada que ver, pero bueno, estaban hablando con Oscar del poder de la música. Mi padre falleció la semana pasada, ¿no? Hace unos días, hace 3 días. Por suerte lo pude ver, pude tocar para él. Él estaba totalmente en su mundo, en Alzheimer, con Alzheimer's y demencia y todo. Cuando empecé a tocar, se le prendieron los ojos.
Wow.
O sea, el poder de la música es un poder muy fuerte. Y es un poder social, porque es una cosa que si no está el que escucha, no sirve de nada, no es nada. Entonces lo que pasa es lo que digo, que a veces la gente no entiende lo que tiene hasta que lo pierde, ¿no? Y aquí ha habido siempre una libertad de expresión, ¿no? Incluso tu amigo Rubén Blades, no nuestro amigo, que la suerte de conocerlo, dice, America, love it, America fix it, you know? In other words, like the good thing about this country is that you can actually make it better, and that's why it's always better, you know, because nobody, I mean, nobody's going to, well, that's supposedly nobody's going to kill you for saying something wrong, but that's been proven to be wrong too, you know. We don't want to get into that conversation, right? But what I'm saying is that people don't know what they have until they because even just 3 days ago, I'm thinking about all the things I never asked my father, you know. Or even in Argentina, after the military government, you know, and this is only my opinion, I'm not a politician, but after those times, 60s and 70s, when this military junta happened, the country has never been able to get back on their feet the way it was before, you know? I remember as a young child, for no reason, I was 6 years old, crying when the military took over a Democratic president. Ilia was the name of Ilia was the president, and I didn't understand anything, but Ilia was someone that you could say, oh, okay, he's an old guy. I believe him. You know, I can trust him. But it's been very hard since then. So I think we have to be careful. You know, we have to really protect what we have, and that's something that we all have to do. You know, including everything else that's going on with, you know, I'm not against computers or even not against artificial intelligence. I use it to a certain degree, you know, as much as is good for me. But we gotta there's nothing like listen to an acoustic guitar or cello or a real piano and just go to a place and, you know, it's good for us, people that like music, as well as it's great for a doctor or someone that is in doing numbers all day. Just go to a concert and despéjate la mente, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I really appreciate when you talk about the angels and all that because, we musicians, we take it for granted. You know what I mean? We do it all the time. We take it for granted. And so sometimes we complain, I don't want to go to this gig, blah, 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 it's too late, whatever. But a we take it for granted, but it's really, I mean, the power of music. Anyone that has a father or mother that is having issues, with dementia. I mean, there's so much of that going on, Alzheimer's. Just play a few notes, you know, play a few notes, sing a few songs, and you will see them come alive again. They will be back to what they were before this horrible, disease came in. You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean. Well, music therapy, of which Berkeley offers a degree in music therapy, is proven more and more to be such an antidote to so many different profound illnesses, including in the area of autism, where they're using music as one of the ways in which they're dealing with autism. So it is very powerful. And the fact that you're so honest about that, at times artists take for granted, I don't need to do what I need to do today because I'm going to take this time off, or I don't want to do it, et cetera, without realizing how, even if it's one person who that moment you touch, that one person you touch, you have changed that person's life that particular moment in time. They're going to always be, I used to be a sports agent.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember that. Yeah.
remember that when I used to be a
Oh
sports
yeah,
agent? ¿Te recuerdas eso? I used to be a sports agent.
I
And I
remember
used,
that. You had some good people, good clients,
yeah, I
¿no?
had good baseball players. Yeah, remember that? I had good
Good.
baseball players.
¿Y cómo se llamaba el dominicano que...
Tenía un sinnúmero, pero lo que te quiero decir, la historia que te quiero decir, the story I want to tell
I'm
all of
sorry,
you
sorry
is
about that. Sorry, sorry.
that that my baseball players, Major League Baseball players, used to complain, some of them, about having to sign autographs. That it was for them, was a, they couldn't go anywhere. Everybody wanted, they couldn't eat. They wanted not. And I would say to them, listen, if you give 2 minutes to some kid and you sign an autograph, that kid is going to run home and bless you and pray for you every single time you come up to bat, when you pitch, when you throw, whatever you're doing on the field. They're going to be saying, I hope he gets a hit. I hope he gets a home run. I hope he strikes him out. They're going to be praying for you. But if you don't give him the autograph, te van a estar maldiciendo. Ah, that guy's a bum. Oh, strike him. I said, which would you rather have? Somebody praying and blessing you, or somebody maldiciéndote? And the players would go, ooh, wait a minute. I understand. I said, so just give them those 2 minutes. Give them the 2 minutes, give them the autograph, and you're going to make their day. And so I realized the same way that on my side, when I hear all this music back here, 5,000 albums, or I hear my CDs, or I hear you or anybody live
Yeah.
at that moment in time, I realize at that minute, that second, I'm hearing something that only you are able to create. Claudio Ragazzi.
Mhm.
That's Claudio Ragazzi's genius and creativity, who I believe you're getting it from a spirit above that gave you that ese don, esa bendición when you were born. When you were born, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
No, yeah, three. I had an older brother that passed away, and then a sister and a brother. And my older brother was into music. Yeah, but
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you have, so in your family there are some DNA that people, that
a little bit.
let's sprinkle a little bit this creative
Yeah,
genius in the Ragazzi
yeah,
family for them to do music as their tool, right?
yeah.
There may be bankers that are Ragazzi, there may be doctors and lawyers that are Ragazzi, but at least in this little group, we're going to give them this little DNA that, boom, the creative bulb will come out and you will create this great music that would impact people. And in your case, this particular album, of which you're going to showcase on Thursday, is an interesting one because, Claudio, in your work, this one you've taken time to say, I'm not only going to put an album together, it's going to be a storyline. Va a ser un cuento, va a ser una, there's a narrative behind it because it's tributes and tangos, of
Mhm.
which you purposely go through a sequence of songs that you have composed that tell a story when you hear it. It's like you're serving me a meal. You're saying, here's the appetizer,
Mhm.
and now let me give you a little bit more in the appetizer. You have a choice of several appetizers in the menu. I'm going to read some. Unfortunately, we can't hear them right now because I don't know how it's going to sound. But, you know, you start off with, let me go down here. There's Iberia,
Yeah.
Part one,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
the way you start off. So
Yeah.
talk about this concept behind tributes and tangos, because it's tributes
Yeah.
and tangos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hablemos sobre esa propuesta.
Yeah. The tributes is not a chronological, it's not like I start from Spain or Iberia or anything like that, but it is a storyline, and one of the concepts here is really to go back, on one hand, go back to those tangos and those milongas, that that are also connected to our folklore in Argentina, because in Argentina happens something similar than would happen in the United States, when the days where you had the country music was seen as a secondary music, and then the jazz and the city music was more important, type of thing. In Argentina, we have the same thing between tango and folklore. So those milongas and those sambas, or Argentinian sambas, are closely related to the folklore, and also they serve as almost like a basic ground for the milongas and tangos, which is gonna, right. And that's another interesting part, because early on, all those musics were a mixture, like in any culture, it's a mixture of the Afro-Argentinians with the Europeans, with the Polish, with this Italians, and everybody. So eh, that music becomes the tango that we knew in the 40s and 50s, and all that. That is also, in my particular case, comes more from my father and my mother. They were, listening to this music as I was as a kid, and all that. But then I was fortunate as a young musician to play with some masters in the new tango movement, right? I never played with Astro Piazzolla. I met him, but I've been able, as a young kid, I was playing with this guy, Rodolfo Mederos, which I should check him out. Bandoneon player. He was mixing the tango with rock and progressive rock and stuff like that, And as a kid, I was crazy for that stuff. When I came to the United States, I started playing with Pablo Ziegler. Pablo Ziegler is pianist, amazing pianist. We still play together um, for Astor Piazzolla for many, many years. And with Pablo, we created a project. I was part of this concept that was called Tango Meets Jazz, right? In that concept, we were able to invite Gary Burton, Bramford Marsalis, Randy Brecker, all the, Kenny Garrett, many of the top jazz players. So the tributes part, in many ways, is more personal. It goes to the tributes of people, well-known people like Chick Corea, that was a big influence in my life. Someone that was actually mixing Spanish, Latin jazz, and jazz, and played with everybody, open-minded type of person. Other people that might not be as well known here, Eduardo Falú, a guitar player, amazing guitar player from Argentina, that used to play folklore, and bringing the guitar also to the front center, because in the early days of tango, Gardel and all those famous singers, they were singing with three guitars. It was like a bolero, like the bolero singers. They would have three guitars before they could afford uh, orchestras and big productions, right? So the guitar was a huge part of tango. So that's why the tributes part and the tangos part is tangos, but it's also an open-minded type of tango. It includes also other styles from Argentina, right? As I said before, for many years I was involved with the Puerto Rican community. I was playing cuatro, I was playing Latin jazz and Brazilian jazz and all that. And it got to a point in my life where I said, you know what, wait a minute, I've been lucky to grow up in this particular tradition, in this particular culture too. So let me show some of my stuff, from Argentina, as well. So that's how that project came about. The project also came about thanks to a a grant from the Boston Foundation, right? And it was the timing was in a way perfect because I got this grant just before COVID hit, so I was able to have some money to write the music for this thing. And then I was able to, once everybody got vaccinated and everything, we were able to get together here, start rehearsing. We went to the studio. The project features some amazing, really amazing player. This Cuban, she's a powerhouse. You probably know her.
Oh, of course we do. Sahili.
Saili
Mhm.
Gonzalez Zamora. I mean, I'm happy to have her on Thursday. She's gonna be one of these people that takes off, and we'll never see her. But
It's so like, Claudio, do you remember the first time you saw Esperanza Spalding perform when she was at Berkeley? You remember the first time you saw her? Because I remember the first time I saw her. The moment I saw her, I said,
oh man,
this person is going to blow up big. You saw it from the moment you saw her. You said, she has it. She's like, and sure enough,
I'm telling you, we have been so lucky. Like, I used to do a gig at a restaurant where we play 3 nights a week, guitar and piano duos with Danilo Perez. When Danilo was a chamaquito, you know what I mean?
18 years old, 19 years old when he first came to Berkeley,
It's,
right?
it's like, man. So we've been so lucky in the sense of seeing so much talent,
Hmm.
uh, and to be able to support them and to say, I
Hmm.
remember Danilo when they said, and I'm not, I got this audition in New York, but I don't want, I'm gonna miss your gig at the restaurant. I said, man, what are you talking about? I get an accordion player. I don't care.
Yeah, who's the audition with? Dizzy Gillespie. What?
Yeah, he was doing the John. It was John Hendricks.
Yeah, John Henry.
So it's like John Hendricks. So it was like, man, yeah, go. What are you talking about? Let them fly. Let everybody fly.
It's the same thing with Sahili. The first time I saw Sahili, I said, how do what? And she's still here and she's teaching at Berkeley, and of course she's doing her own thing. But she's another one that you already know. We've got her. Let's embrace her. I'm hoping even when you know, she'll still use this as her home base. Which is the important thing, right? That's the
We're
important
lucky
thing.
to
Yeah,
have,
yeah, yeah,
Boston in that sense. We're lucky to have Danilo
yeah,
still is
yeah,
around here. When you
yeah,
catch him, he's around here,
yeah.
and so many other people. So we are lucky to have those people. Boston, in that sense, I think has been a good community
Hmm.
for the arts. But we can do more. We can
Of
all.
course, of course.
But so Saili will be there. Another person who's in the record, and it was crucial for him to be in the record, is Dan Greenspan. Dan
Of
is a
course. Our dear Grant. Yes,
yeah.
Dan.
On this gig, we're gonna go a little more electric.
Okay.
Gerson Lasso is playing
Hmm.
bass, electric bass, and we're gonna go a little more electric because it's a bar too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. It's a brewery. Yeah.
It's a brewery.
Yeah.
It's a word that is hard for me to pronounce. I get my daughter to how brewery. How you say
Brewery.
brewery? But Gerson is going to be playing with us. But Dan was very crucial for this project, for the record.
Hmm.
First of all, for his sound and artistry, but also for many many years we played with Mili Bermejo.
Yeah. May she rest in peace. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, his late wife, and we share that with him. You know, the fact that we both, you know, at different times in our lives, we lost our loved one, you know,
Mm-hmm.
our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in the record. Gerson will be playing the electric on Thursday, and we got a couple more other gigs coming up as well later this year. And Steve Langon. Steve Langon is an amazing drummer. You know, he's
Yep.
someone that I played for many many years as well. Steve is someone that you know comes from the school of Alan Dawson. You know, I mean, he was
Mm-hmm.
Alan.
Mm-hmm.
Was one of the most amazing teachers Boston ever had. You know, I mean, we've been so lucky to have these people in this area in our lives. Alan Dawson, who played with Dave Brubeck and so many other people. Uh, so he went from jazz into Brazilian jazz, Latin jazz. He can play, and then we have a couple of tunes where Iggy is playing timbales and congas. You know, Iggy Castillo. I mean, that guy. You bring him to the studio, you know, and the place starts to.
Changes. It changes.
Oh man,
Changes. Automatically
he's
changes.
a powerhouse, you
Yeah.
know.
It
The guy,
changes. It
I love the
changes.
guy, yeah. And the only thing is, like, you know, he lives here in Framingham near my house, and we never see each other. You know what I mean? Yeah, something weird has to happen, you know, for us to see each other.
Well, it's going to be happening Thursday. You know, what makes it special for the people who live in the Boston area, greater Boston area, we invite you to come down. Put this on your map. A, it's early. It's a 6 to 8 ish type of gig. So it's not 8 to 12. It's, you know, you got early evening.
Mhm.
Second, it is a brewery. So therefore, if you're a consumer of fine beer, that's the place to go.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
have.
pop up. It's
Yeah,
a pop up.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a pop up for good food to have a pop up, so you can order your food right there.
Mhm.
Um, and but what it is that it allows you to hear high degree of musicianship at no cost to you, the client, the customer, the consumer, the
Yeah,
music aficionado, because the owner of the building that makes this possible. When you see Feldman, Geopatio, they're
yeah,
the ones basically subsidizing this through their largesse, using money as a way to create art in a space that is not artistic, but nevertheless, you can imagine becomes artistic. So they have made this brewery a very intimate artistic venue where you can hear some great music of great musicians from the area performing at no cost to you, but at least your presence is what uplifts the investment on the part of the company and on the part of the supporter of this type of music, who is a music aficionado and lover who respects the
yeah,
musicians and the music that they bring, and who respects the audience as well by bringing you top caliber music every single Thursday. So this is going to be an opportunity to hear very special type of music when you go on Thursday, because it's going to be Claudio Ragazzi. You already heard the musicians will be performing, including a Castillo, and I have the honor of being the host on that night, starting at 6 o'clock. Long live Roxbury at 152 Hamden Street in Boston. So we're looking forward to that. And so the idea of this type of project being sponsored by Boston Foundation is again what we were speaking earlier with Oscar. No, it's
yeah,
how both the philanthropic community, how the ecosystem of the consumer, us, the listener, music aficionado, the lover of great music, can support each other so that work like the one you've done can come out and be part of our lexicon, be part of the canon of great music that comes out from this area. And we appreciate that you've been able to put this together. And you know what I love about it, Claudio, is that it is it's a journey. For me, when I hear the album, I'm going through a journey with you
mhm,
of time and place and people and sounds that I appreciate. And the fact that you have Sahili there doing the magnificent work that she's doing on piano, it's
mhm.
not like I hear her playing a montuno or cha cha cha, right? It's another form of her showing her talent as a pianist. And of course, you mentioned Dan, who floats in any kind of music. I mean, Dan is just like he's a bass. He floats in everything.
Yeah.
But I think that you take me through a musical journey with some beautiful music
Thank you.
that I hope people will embrace and understand that this is truly a work of love, a work of art, and a work that is needed to be supported and shared. You mentioned in the beginning of the show that I'm open to so many different kinds of music. The reason I'm open to many kinds of music is because I grew up listening to a lot of different types of music.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, for me, good music is good music.
Yeah.
As long as it's good music, it's going to be good music, and you're going to embrace it and say, "Wow, that's good music. I like that. That sounds good." And this, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of good music. And what you will be enjoying on Thursday is another example of some good music. I dare say great music. And Claudio, one of the things that we haven't spoken about is that part of your passion and part of your ability and creativity is what you do around films, scores, and
Yeah.
TV and things. Talk a little bit about how that came into your nexus of creativity.
Well, I mean, it's incredible what you're saying, because also the music is story, is storytelling. I mean, you hear the stories. Like, even we mentioned like Ruben Blades a minute ago. Like, people say no, Pedro Navaja is never going to sell. It's too long, but it's a story, right? And people are watching a film when they listen to that thing. So one of the things that I always did was as a kid was I learned new chords or new pieces, and then I started trying to tell a story with the music, right? Uh, in Boston, again, totally related to the community. I was playing with all these different people, and then all of a sudden, I met, through Gil Raldírez, Raquel Ortiz too. Raquel Ortiz was essential in terms of like saying, hey, we're gonna need some music for this documentary, blah blah blah. And again, I was lucky to get involved in a body of work and a type of movies that were either social documentaries, or there were documentaries about some specific things. La Plaza was one of the shows that was going on back then. I did a lot of music for that. WGBH was very, and so a lot of social documentaries and documentaries, as well as some independent films. And one of the things that I always tried to do was to bring, um, to try to use the vast Latin American vocabulary in a way, in a dramatic way, right? So instead of bringing in the cellos and blah, maybe you can do something nice with percussion, or you can do something nice with some kind of cachao kind of bass, you know what I mean? So there's so much in terms of the vocabulary. So for many years, I would say late 80s, early 90s to the year 2010, when I started teaching a film composition at Berkeley. I don't teach guitar, at Berkeley. I teach film composition. And one of the things I try to do as much as I can is to bring that social aspect, the documentary element. And also I teach another class, which is basically I put them in a situation where I say, well, you got to learn, you're going to learn a particular style of music in 1 week. You're going to have a crash course on, could be Brazilian music, and write something for a movie, because a lot of film composers, we don't have the time. We're not scholars. We don't go to Harvard for 10 years, 15 years to learn about the music from a particular tribe, or from a particular region. We need to be able to produce something fast, quick, and with the right sound, and with the right also being respectful to the cultures, you see. So film, it was through recording some television shows. Then I was lucky to meet the who was the mother of is the mother of Gabi, my daughter, Natacha Estebanes. She was an amazing producer, And talking about collaborations, those were the days where we were able to collaborate. GBH, Harvard, MIT, Berkeley, New England Conservatory, so many other MFA, so many other institutions here in Boston, were all working together for the benefit of the people. So we lost her. I mean, I lost her. She passed away in 2007, and after that, I went a little more into the teaching instead of keep working in that field. I still do some scoring, but it's a different mindset. And at the same time, it's similar, because when you are, even as a jazz improviser, the people we like to listen to are the storytellers. I mean, you listen to it's all by Papo Luca, or Keith Jarrett, and so many others. They start with a little something, they build it up, and they tell you story. So what you're saying about being able to tell a story through music means a lot to me. Yeah.
Well, you're very good at it and exceptionally good at it, and I appreciate that you bring up the name of Natasha because, Divina thinks of you too often in that way. Whenever your name comes up, she quickly thinks about, because the role that she played in bringing you two together
Yeah.
as husband and wife. But the important thing for me from this conversation with you is that the role of creative minds, you speak of me being open, is the fact that you, as a musician coming from Argentina, from your cultural background, were able to assimilate all these different musical forms that you were listening to as a child, but also then come here and quickly find yourself listening to cuatro guitar that was not Venezuelan, José La Torre, Nueva Canción, Haciendo Punto Otro Son, Música Jíbara, Música Campesina, jazz, and all the things of that nature. That has to be part of your role as well. So it's not just the listener has to be open; the musician has to be open, right? You didn't say I'm only going to do this, because there are musicians who say I'm going to eat rice and beans every single day, and you're sitting there. Well, okay, that's nice. It
Yeah.
tastes good, but you should try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and
Yeah.
then your palate becomes richer when you eat all these great foods, right?
Yeah. No.
Have you eaten anything?
I'm telling you, it is around time for dinner. You know what I mean? It must be, must be, but
That's what I'm saying. I
but
got
the analogy
in
with
4 minutes. In 4 minutes, the lights are going to go out because Divina's going to start flashing, like
oh
saying
my goodness.
dinner time at 7 o'clock.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's a little for everything, because there's something to say about the person who is playing the blues the way it was
Hmm.
played 100 years ago, or was playing
Hmm.
cuatro in the mountain there, Orocovi, whatever, and it's like playing the stuff in the real, authentical way. But then you have to also accept who you are. I was born in the city, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I grew up between Buenos Aires and Boston, so I'm not gonna pretend to be gaucho. I mean,
Hmm. Hmm.
I have my mate, but I'm not a I'm not a gaucho. I
Uh-huh.
was two questions. One person not too long ago asked me, but I thought that the Argentinians were all gauchos. And then another, this is one for, you will laugh about this. You're Latin, so you're Latin American, so you speak Latin. Somebody asked me one time, but that's another story. But Jose, I mean, you have no idea how much I appreciate you. It's You have been so essential to the history of the cultural history
Mm.
of this area, and I'm so happy, because I know by the time when you were representing your Red Sox and other players, sports people. I think there was a talk, you were thinking about maybe moving out of Boston or
Right.
something.
Yeah, I'm going to Miami. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Don't let him go. So we've been lucky to have you. I used to play this concert with José La Torre in Amherst,
Mhm.
Holyoke, those communities.
Hmm. Hmm.
Coming back at 2 in the morning, driving, listening to Con Salsa, with José Massó, Who wrote that theme? Who was that? Edgar Nevares? No, who
Egal Nevares, Egal
was Edgar?
Nevares.
No? Oh, man,
Yeah, it was Egal. Yeah,
tune. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Egal Nevares. And
You
now Frankie
still use
Rodriguez
that.
was,
You still use
yeah,
that, right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
still,
man,
yeah. You
that's
hear it, you hear
nice.
it. Sigue
Yeah.
la salsa con salsa y José Mazo. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's the
That's
one.
it.
That's
I
the
used
one.
to listen. And that was till what in the morning? You were till 2 in the morning.
I used to do it. Remember, there was a time I used to do it till 5 in the morning. Then I did it till whatever. Now I do it from 10 till 3 in the morning. And now people can download it on demand. So if they miss it, they can just go to the station wbur.org/consalsa and download the whole show so they can hear what they missed.
You
So you can
have
hear it.
BUR digitizing all that. I mean, because for people that don't know much about, or even for people like me that love all kinds of Latin music, to have access to that library, that's like a
Hmm.
Library of Congress type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But
You are the Julia. You're the Julia Child of music, my friend. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Truly.
We've got a couple of projects that we're working on. I mentioned to you, I've been commissioned to write the history of for Latin music in Boston writ large. That includes all of Massachusetts and going into Hartford, which is going to be extensive as you can imagine. But it's a way for us to capture all of those stories, all that history, all the names that you mentioned, all the things that took place during the '80s in both at Inquilinos Boricuas en Acción, or Hernandez Cultural Center, Big Victoria. You mentioned Mercedes Sosa, Inti Limani. I mean, all those great things that happened during that period of time. We want to document it so people know who, how, where, when, why, and how it all came together and the impact that it had in people's lives
Well,
back
Jose,
then.
if I can help in any way, I mean, we brought Cachao
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
Boston
yeah.
when he was playing. He was playing in Miami, an Argentinian restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing tangos actually, and boleros and tangos in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And he was saying, "Man, why do you want me here?" And we brought was Chocolate Armenteros on trumpet,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mauricio Smith on the flute. The
Mm-hmm.
band was crazy good. Um, I think the youngest person was Richie Flores was on,
Richie Florian Congas. Yeah,
but everybody else was from the days of the Mambo craze,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the descargas. And shortly after that was when Gloria Estefan and the other actor, I can't think of his
Andy
name,
Garcia. Andy
Andy
Garcia.
Garcia, totally,
Yep.
started doing the videos and all that, and he became amazingly, I mean, popular to a certain degree, and his music became respected finally again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is
That was his second chapter in life.
Yeah,
That was the one that finally gave him his due recognition that he deserved to have in so many different ways. And you played a role in it the same way Alex and all the names we mentioned. But
yeah.
yeah, you will be one of the folks I'm going to be tapping on so that we can document this
I
great
I
history
love that. I
that
love
we
that.
have. So
And as you can say, I don't like talking at all. Sorry. Perdóname, ¿verdad?
that's what we do. Eso lo que hacemos. So I'm going to remind folks that thanks to Michael Feldman, and thank you Sue Alclair, Michael
Yeah,
Feldman,
Claire as well.
Geospatial
Yeah.
presents Jazz Night, free admission this coming Thursday, 6 p.m. You'll have live music. It's a brewery, and they have a pop up. It starts at 6, and it's at Long Live Roxbury. I'll be your host, and Claudio Ragazzi and the quartet will be performing. Eggy Castillo will be an invited guest, special guest for that night. It's coming Thursday. The weather's cooperating, so we're looking forward to it. We have here some quick saludos. Lorik says, I remember Lalo Schifrin and Claudio reminds me of him. I wish I could be there on Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lorik, for that. She applauds.
Thank you.
And
Well,
then
Claudio, Lalo is another Claudio Schifrin from Argentina.
there you go. There
And
you
my
go.
parents used to go listen to him before he was discovered by Dizzy Gillespie in Buenos Aires.
Check
So
that out. Check that
amazing,
out.
amazing. Listen to the Suite Gillespiana, a work that he did, one of the first suites, Latin jazz suites that Lalo actually wrote for Dizzy.
Mm-hmm. There you
Featuring,
go.
you know,
There you
amazing.
go. And Jose and Claudio,
Well,
saludos.
Iggy, actually, just one thing, just to make sure that people understand, Iggy is not going to be there on Thursday as a
Oh,
special.
he's not. I'm sorry.
No, he's a special guest in the record. So they want
Oh, on the record. That's
a
right.
special guest
Okay.
in
I
the
thought
record.
he was going to join us for the record, for
Just
the
to
studio. No.
clarify, because these days, with Messi playing, not playing in Vancouver. I don't know if you heard all that stuff. That people go to see Messi and he's not playing, and they want their money back and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that.
Yeah, but when the people went to Foxborough to see him play, he played and people loved it. And you could, it
And
was
I
like,
couldn't go. The tickets were so expensive. A friend of mine says to me, "Man, I went. My friend works as a cleaning in the cleaning crew, right?
uh-huh, uh-huh.
So the friend got him all these shirts. With everybody got in with cleaning shirts, and then went in and they got the best seats in the house for free to see Messi.
Yeah.
That was really, really amazing.
No, the tickets for Messi were more than the tickets are for next Thursday to
Yeah.
see Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. That's to show you how popular Messi
Oh
is.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mick Jagger, Rolling Stone tickets here, Messi tickets up here. That's the way it is. But
Mick
anyway,
I told Mick not to play the same day I play. What's wrong with this kid?
that's what I told him. I said, "Why are you coming to play? Don't you realize Claudio's playing that night?" He said, "Well, I'm sorry,
And another thing is this: I mean, for people who come right after work, they got someone that is cooking a Caribbean, island Caribbean
Yeah, yeah,
food,
yeah.
from and it's really good food actually. The jerk
Oh, it is. It
chicken and
is.
rice and beans and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So if people they
yeah,
make empanadas as well. So if people are hungry, they can eat something. It's a really nice
yeah.
environment.
No,
Yeah.
it's a great environment. So, Michael Feldman, if you're watching, thank you. So, Claire, thank you. We look forward to seeing you there Thursday. I look forward to seeing everybody else there. And Wito Rodriguez, thank you for tuning in and say hello. We appreciate you. And Jose Arroyo here says, Jose and guests for another entertaining show. Thank you as well. And so, mi hermanito, te quiero mucho. Bendiciones para ti. Y si Dios permite, nos vemos el jueves.
Nos vemos el jueves si Dios permite.
¿Ok?
Y saludos a Divina. Y again, you guys, you're an institution here in Boston,
Thank you.
in the US, and I mean, it's so cool. Yeah.
Thank you, mi hermano. Te quiero mucho. Bendiciones. El jueves, si Dios permite. Gracias por tu tiempo. Ciao. Okay, my friends. So that was Claudio, Oscar. Sorry for the musical. I've been playing in the background, but I didn't dare, you know. So that's the sound of the music, which unfortunately was not cooperating with us on this day. The album is titled Tributes and Tangos, and it's the Claudio Ragazzi Quartet, Tributes and Tangos. Until the next time, I thank each and every one of you. Spend a minute and commemorate during Memorial Day on Monday, which is tomorrow. And once again, this has been a D&J production inspired by the one and only my beautiful wife upstairs, Divina. And to all of you who are tuning in, thank you. Take care of each other, and I love you. God bless you. And until the next time, keep supporting music. It's important that we do. Bendiciones para todos ustedes. Gracias. Hasta la próxima vez. Bendiciones. Los quiero mucho. Cuídense, por favor. Y gracias.